Shivoham. So today we are ready for another health webinar. Here we are going to discuss that how we can heal ourselves naturally. We have to know that every single disease has its roots in a faulty belief system. In this journey of life, where we have come for self-realization, where we have come to realize our true self or our full potential, what happens is we make lot of faulty perceptions about this world because we try to see the world from our eyes. When we have problems, we start either doubting ourselves or develop mistrust in the world or start doubting our destiny or God. And why we do this is because we don't understand that why we are having problems, because of ego, because of ignorance, and because we are trying to find a reasoning as to why certain things happen with us. So what happens is these faulty perceptions, these faulty belief systems, they settle in your consciousness. And you are looking at the world through the lens of your consciousness. The world is the same, but every person is seeing the world from his eyes. For someone, the world is a very dark place. For someone, world is a very lucky place. He sees abundance and support everywhere. For someone, the world does not have any opportunity. For someone, there are so many opportunities, but he's not able to grab them. For someone, there is nothing wrong with the world, but all the problem is with himself. For someone, there is no problem with himself, but there is a problem with the world. Someone finds relationships very tough. Someone finds it very difficult to have finances. For someone, it is very difficult to get success. So everyone is looking at the world from his own eyes. So like a kaleidoscope, the world looks different from every angle. It looks different. But we have to understand that finally we have come in this world to realize ourself. And everyone's self is the same. So we are going or we are walking on different paths, but the destiny or the final destination is the same. So there are many religions, many spiritual, texts, many spiritual masters, right? Okay. All of them speak different languages, but ultimately they take you to the same destination. Ultimately, all of them say God is one because his final characteristics are one. So every single journey is finally taking you to your own self. And in order to walk on that journey, you meet lots of obstacles and challenges. And by handling those obstacles and challenges, you realize your true self. And that is why they say the world is full of duality. The world is duality. In order to see positive, you have to see negative. To see success, you have to taste failure. To realize your nature of stability, you have to go through insecurity. To realize your nature of creativity, you have to go through a period of being very stuck. To realize your nature of power, you have to go through a period of victimization. To realize your nature of love, you have to see negativity and hatred. To realize your nature of wisdom, you have to see your nature of ignorance also. To realize acceptance, you have to go through things you cannot accept. And to realize your nature of abundance, you have to go through discontentment. When you go through this negative period, you don't like it because that is not your nature. So what you do, you struggle. You try to come out of it. You suffer. And finally, you come out of it with the light of knowledge and settle in your true nature. Once you settle in your true nature, you don't move. Till you don't come here, you keep on moving like the dial of a clock. You will go left, you will go right. You will go left, you will go right. But once you settle in the center, you don't move. So all the spiritual masters, all the spiritual books, they try to make you aware about your true nature. Once you become aware, once that light of wisdom glows within you, you don't change. Once you evolve, you cannot fall back. These lessons of life, they resonate with your being because they are true. So whatever we talk, which is truth, it will resonate with you. It will unclog the dirt, the darkness, the ignorance within you, and it will reveal your resplendent self. So, as I said, every disease manifests in your body because of faulty belief systems. We have covered various other diseases in the past where we saw how anxiety happens because you perceive that I cannot handle situations. Depression happens when you tune to hopelessness. Arthritis happen because you feel that you're not supported. Spine issues happen again because your back, your spine, it perceives that the world doesn't support it in different ways. So every single disease manifests because you have identified the world with your faulty perceptions. And these perceptions have to be realized. This weakness in your consciousness has to be realized. You have to look at it. You have to look at it with wisdom, and then you can dislodge it. So we approach diseases through the lens of the chakras. Every chakra has got certain lessons which tune you to your true nature. The Mooladhara chakra tunes you to your true nature of being supported and being secure. Unless you tune to it, you will be vibrating with insecurity. The Swadhisthana chakra tunes you to your true nature, that you are unique, you are nurtured, you are safe. Till you don't tune to it, you will not stand up to protect and defend yourself. You will not stand up and make your boundaries, right? And keep people at bay. And till then, you will allow people to take advantage of you. The Manipur chakra, which is the seat of your power, it tunes you that you have power within you. It is not something you take from others or you have to give to others. Your nature is power, just like the sun. The heart chakra tunes you to trust. That you have to trust everything. Whatever is happening by His grace. You don't have to be affected. Always know that you are not the actor in the drama. You are not the director in this drama of life. You are not the spectator also in this drama of life. Then who are you? If you're not the actor, you're not the director, and you're not the spectator, who are you? You are the one on whom the drama is based. You are the one. You are that omnipresent consciousness on whom the drama is based. And the drama is revealing him in your form. The drama is revealing him in your form. It is a little difficult to understand, and that is why when a person gets enlightened, his third eye opens. His true eye of vision opens, which is actually vertical. You see the world with your horizontal eyes, but your true eye is actually vertical. You have to change your perception. You have not come here to experience this world. You have not come here to do anything in this world. You have not come here to perform some karma in this world. You are not a bhogi. You are not the one who consumes in this world. You are a yogi. You are realizing the self in this world. Or you can say you are being realized in this world. So every chakra has lesson that makes you come closer to your true self. The throat chakra embodies lessons of understanding, making yourself understood, and lessons of light. That your true nature is light. You are designed to dissolve every single darkness. There is not a single problem of life that you cannot solve. Every single situation that is coming in your life has got a solution. You cannot be helpless, you cannot be frustrated. If it has come in front of you, it is your responsibility and you can solve it. But actually what happens when you see a problem which you have not dealt with before, and that's why it's a problem. If you have dealt with it before, you know how to solve it, it's no longer a problem. But when you face a unique situation, an unwanted situation, a situation which is darkness for you, your ego takes over when you don't trust it, when you don't allow it, when you don't accept it. Then what happens? The ego tries to tell you that it is terrifying. It is not good for you. It is harmful for you. Ego means edging God out. It is what creates a separation between you and your true self. You will constantly hear a voice in your head, always talking negative. That is ego. Every time the ego will try to tell you why this is bad and why you cannot do it. It will try to give you lots and lots of emotions of powerlessness and victimization. So, when you look at any new situation, any unwanted situation, or any situation which you have not dealt with before, with the eyes of the ego, you develop emotions. And the moment you develop emotions, your heart, which is called anahat, which should never be affected, it gets blocked. And once it gets blocked, the mind is very happy because now the control is with it. Because if your heart is closed, the mind functions. If your heart is open, the mind cannot function. So when the heart gets blocked, the mind takes over, and then the mind tries to solve the situation with its own definitions, which are in the consciousness or the chitta. And you end up doing mistakes, you end up making beliefs. So the mind tries to keep you trapped in its own world, illusionary world called Maya, where it tries to tell you that you have to control the world, you have to fulfill your desires, world is not a good place for you, right? And it keeps you, in karma, lust, what you say, the vices of Kam, Krodh, Mad, Moha, Lobh. Right? It keeps you engrossed in greed, ego, right? anger, right? Lots of pride. And that's why the person cannot actually connect to his true self. But then the divine light has also made a system. If you are not connected to your true self, right, you're not happy. You have lots and lots of emotions which keep you distressed. Because your true state is happiness, truth, and bliss. But when you are connected to this state where you are not happy, this state of ignorance causes you diseases, it causes you losses, it causes you despair. Then what happens when you try to struggle and come out, right? And that is the time where light comes to you and you slowly start connecting here. So diseases happen because of faulty perceptions and belief systems. It happens because some area of your life is not getting the light of the consciousness. Light is nurturing, light is health, light is God, light is love. If you're not getting light on your area of life, which is stability in the Mooladhara Chakra, you have bone issues, bone problems, arthritis. If you're not getting light on your creativity and self-esteem, you have sexual issues, you cannot create. If you're not getting light on power, you will have digestion issues. If you're not getting light on your heart chakra of trust, you will have circulatory issues, blood pressure, heart diseases. If you're not having light on your wisdom, right, you will have thyroid issues, right? You will have hormonal issues. If you're not having light on your third eye chakra of intelligence, you will have sinus issues. If you're not having light on contentment, on gratitude, which is your crown chakra, you will have brain disorders, skin issues, etc. So today our topic is how to heal naturally from diabetes, right? So what happens is whenever you understand the nature of a disease, you understand what all it does, and then you can link it with the lesson it is trying to teach you. I firmly believe that if you attune to the lessons that the disease is trying to teach you, the disease has got no reason to exist. Whether the disease is a dreaded disease like cancer, paralysis, schizophrenia, every disease can be cured if you learn the lesson. But yes, the disease has happened because a lot of hopelessness has set in. Before that, it was just a symptom, emotional symptom, physical symptom. But now it has become a disease, it has become a manifestation in the physical system. So now to heal it will take time. Because first, you have to open up to hope. Because you have become so hopeless about that aspect that you cannot believe it can be healed. So first, you have to open up to hope of being healed. You have to open up to hope for the lessons it is trying to teach you. Heal naturally from diabetes. Normally, and the organ which is pancreas, which is an organ behind the stomach, it releases insulin to help your body store and use the sugar and fat from the food you eat. Diabetes occurs when your body cannot make or effectively use its own insulin, a hormone made by special cells in the pancreas called islets. Insulin serves as a key to open your cell to allow the sugar from the food you eat to enter. Then your body uses that glucose for energy. See, we have to understand what the disease is trying to tell you. So I repeat, diabetes is a condition that impairs the body's ability to process glucose or blood sugar. Okay. As we go, it will become more and more clear. So let us understand what it is trying to tell. Okay. This is a picture of a cell. Inside a cell, there is an insulin receptor, and you can call insulin like a key. Now, when this key goes into this lock, cell can absorb the glucose from the food, right? And what is glucose? Glucose is energy. So you can say that till the insulin is not there, the cell cannot absorb the glucose from the food, from the blood. Without insulin, the cells become starved. Okay. Without insulin, the cells become starved of glucose energy despite the presence of abundant glucose in the bloodstream. Okay. Whatever food you eat, right, that when that food is processed by your Manipur chakra, by your stomach and your intestines, the energy in the form of glucose, it enters the blood. Now this energy is supplied to the cells. For the cells to be able to absorb the energy, it needs the key of insulin. But when the key is not present for some reason, or some dysfunction doesn't allow the cell to absorb the glucose, the unutilized glucose, in the blood is wastefully excreted in the urine. So whatever food you ate, it went waste because all the glucose went into the urine. It was excreted. This untreated blood sugar, right, from diabetes. Now this untreated blood sugar from diabetes, it can damage your nerves, eyes, kidneys, and other organs. Without careful management, diabetes can lead to a buildup of sugar in the blood, and this can lead to complications, including stroke and heart diseases. See, I'm not going to go into technical details because those people who have diabetes, they know much, much more than me for this. So there is a lot of literature available for this. We are just going to go briefly in order to understand the disease. About 422 million people worldwide have diabetes. And 1.6 million deaths are attributed to diabetes each year. The diabetes term comes from the Greek word which means siphon, to pass through honey, or to pass through sweet, or you can say urinate something sweet. As yet, there is no cure, and people with diabetes need to manage their disease in order to stay healthy. Diabetes, that one is an immune disease. In this, the immune system attacks and destroys the cells in the pancreas where insulin is made. So it is something which medical system cannot do anything about because they don't know the reason why this happens. And the type 2 diabetes occurs when the body becomes resistant to insulin. Type 2 diabetes occurs when the body becomes resistant to insulin and the sugar builds up in the blood. So this is a diagram which I took from internet. Type 1 diabetes, you can see normally what happens, the pancreas produces insulin and the insulin gives glucose to the cells. But when you are diabetic, what happens in type 1? Immune cells destroy the beta cells in the pancreas. Now the pancreas cannot produce insulin. Because there is no insulin, the glucose cannot enter the cell and there is a buildup of glucose in the blood. Now what happens? This becomes toxic and it starts attacking your organs, leading to blindness and host of other issues. This is a diagram of type 1. I firmly believe that people who have a disease, they should study the disease very deeply because from there some cure can come. and they should not just rely on the doctors and medicines. For type 1, pancreas fail to produce insulin. Because of this, the glucose cannot enter the cell. There is no key. And type 2, insulin is produced in some quantity, but the insulin receptor only is not working. So because of that, the cells fail to respond to the insulin properly. Now, type 1 diabetes, as it is said, it is autoimmune, so people cannot find a cause. But for type 2, they attribute it to obesity, poor eating habits, less activity, and a lack of disciplined lifestyle. So they believe that if you are overweight, your cells are not active enough to absorb the insulin, right? So they suggest that you should have an active lifestyle. The general symptoms of diabetes include increased hunger, thirst, weight loss, urination, blurry vision, fatigue, and sores that don't heal. Now let us start coming to the main, what lessons we have to learn. Okay. Diabetes begins when something disrupts your body's ability to turn the food you eat into energy. What does it try to tell you? See, this is such a beautiful picture. You can say that the insulin is like a key which opens a lock. And the moment the lock opens, the glucose channel opens to take in glucose. So diabetes begins when something disrupts your body's ability to turn the food you eat into energy. So let us try to interpret it. Diabetes begins when something disrupts you from self-empowerment, because glucose is energy, energy is self-empowerment. It has come from your Manipura chakra. Now, why you don't want power? Now try to realize what is the reason you're not ready to take in power. Either you have beliefs related to self-power. When you don't believe in self-power, then you reject self-power. When you feel being powerful is being arrogant and selfish. When you look down upon power. When you reject your worth, you don't feel worthy of power. When you don't realize your worth. When you become hopeless about self-worth. When you become hopeless about self-power. So I will interpret it in a chakra language as this is diabetes. Diabetes begins when lack of self-worth disrupts your body's ability to turn the lessons of life into power. Where there is no key of self-worth to open the lock so that you can absorb power into your life. Because you have to understand, till you don't feel yourself worthy, how can you take in power? Right? Can you attract anything in your life, right, till you feel worthy for it? Right? If someone says, yes, I want to take you to the heavens, I want to take you to the skies, I want you to fly high with abundance, you will not feel worthy of it. If you don't feel worthy of something, can you take it? So the lock is opened by the key of self-worth. Somewhere your self-worth is destroyed. Right? And somewhere you don't believe that you should take in power because of some faulty perception of power. Now, this key and this lock, these lessons of self-worth and self-power, they are lessons of the Rit Padma Chakra. This chakra is located below your heart. It is called the sacred heart or the lower heart. So let us learn lessons of this chakra today. Now this chakra is also represented by this diagram. It has got a sun region and a moon region, and it is said to have a Kalpavriksha tree inside it, a tree of wish fulfillment of desires. It is said to be the seat of Lord Shiva and Lord Shakti. You can say the soul and the material consciousness. Finally, you have come in this world to experience this world or to realize yourself in this world. You are neither Shiva or you are neither Shakti by itself. You are their union. You are neither a total material form and you are not a totally spiritual form. You are a union. You are God experienced. You can say you are God experiencing himself as a human. Right? You are God experiencing himself as a human. So the Rit Padma Chakra is the seat of that experience. So here you have the sun and you have the moon, both of them together. This is the location of this chakra. As you can see, it is above the Manipur chakra, which is the yellow chakra, and below the Anahat chakra. You can say it is about 2 to 3 inches below the end of your sternum. And it is between your belly button and your heart. More about this chakra. It has 8 petals. In Hindu religion, we call this seat of goddess Lakshmi. And we say the 8 forms of Lakshmi, the Ashtalakshmi, are her forms. Planet is Venus, and money. Organs that this chakra governs are pancreas, stomach, eyes, heart, and nervous system. In this, the sense of love resides, right? And action is experience. Now, what does this mean? Love. Is love a sense? Right? And action is experience. Now tell me something. Can you experience anything that you don't love? Just think about it. Can you experience anything in this world that you don't love? Let us talk about something very mundane as food. Can you experience food if you don't like it? Unless you like it, you cannot even taste it. Can you experience sight? Can you look at something unless you like it? Can you smell something unless you like it? Can you hear something unless you like it? Can you feel something unless you like it? Can you get anything into your world unless you like it? Can you get the coveted job you want unless you like it? Yes. So you have to understand that how love, love is the reason of your experiences. Unless you love something, you cannot experience it. If you don't like what you're seeing, you'll close your eyes. You'll try to close your ears if you don't like to hear something. You will try to close your nose if you don't like it. You will desensitize yourself if you don't want to feel something. You cannot attract anything in your life unless you love it. And that is the law of attraction. It makes you love something in order to attract it. If you want a job, if you want a woman in your life, if you want to buy something, right? Any material thing you want in your life, a house, a car, an asset, unless you love it, it cannot come to you. But what the ego tries to do, it tries to create fear and doubt so that you close it. This is also a heart chakra. It is called lower heart chakra. Today, whatever you want to desire in your life, unless you love it, it will not come in your life. But actually in life, what happens? Whatever you desire, you're most fearful about it. Because you have so many expectations, so much fear of not having it. So much of doubt, so much of mistrust. And because you have mistrust, your heart is closed. You will notice anything that you have loved a lot, it has always come in your life. If your heart is open to anything that you love, it has to manifest in your life. You will experience in your life. But it is the working of the ego which tries to put you in a loop of expectations, mistrust, doubt, feeling not worthy of it, feeling it is hard to achieve, all different memories of failure, which make you close your heart and then you cannot attract it. Right? So let us come back to the PPT. So this is the seat of the sense of love, and anything that you love, that thing alone you can experience in your life. This is the center of self-worth, means feeling deserving of it. Because you cannot attract anything till you feel deserving of it, worthy of it. It is a seat of your experiences. It is a seat of true happiness. It is also the seat of selflessness, right? And it is also the seat of love. This chakra is primarily the seat of self-love or love and your value in this world. You know, Venus, is also the planet of love and money is value. And you love something, you value. Whatever you love in this world is because you value that thing. You love your family because you value it. You love your friend because you value it. So this is the seat of love and your value in this world. And Venus, is the planet of the gemstone diamond. Right? Now, let us briefly discuss that why diamond is associated with value. Now understand, diamond is something that only one person who knows its value will recognize it. Right? Like there is a story that where one student asked his master, what is the meaning of value? Right? Then what the master did, he gave him a piece of a rock and told him, you ask 5 people its price. So he first went to a vegetable vendor. The vendor looked at it and said, yeah, it looks nice, I can put on my cart. I will give you a sack of potatoes. Then, I'm making up the story because I don't remember the full story. Then he went to another person who was a beggar. And he said, do you want to take it? He said, what will I do with it? Please give me a bread in its place. Right? And like this, he went to different people who didn't really understand, and they tried to negotiate something small in its exchange. Then finally, he saw one jewelry shop and he entered there. And then that jeweler, he took that rock in his hand, examined it and told him, even if I sell my entire building with all its possessions, I cannot pay the price of this magnificent ruby. I cannot pay the price of this magnificent ruby gemstone because the jeweler recognized its value. So understand, just because the potato seller or the beggar or the contractor did not know, this thing did not become worthless. Today, if people don't recognize you, it doesn't mean you are worthless. The right person has not come. Because when the right person comes, he will recognize your value. So diamond is associated with value because that person who knows it will value it. For another person, a bread, a piece of loaf is better than the diamond. And diamond also, when you really need it, that time it has a value. It can lie in your cupboard, just like a rock for years. But suppose you want to go to a function, you want to impress someone, you will wear it, and that day you will have value for it. A lover will give to his girlfriend, to his lover, with lots of love and give it a value. So diamond is the best significator of value. Because every person will give value for it as per his own definition and perception. Diamond is something which cannot be traded freely in the market. If you have bought from a jeweler, you have to sell it to the same person. And then you will get correct price for it. This chakra is your seat of attraction of desires. So when this chakra is open, you attract like a magnet success, happiness, prosperity, health, good situations, opportunities, etc. Always it is said, no, you are worthy and you will receive. Believe and you shall receive. So when you think you're worthy for something, you're ready to attract that thing. And that is why people chant affirmations. They chant for 21 days to become worthy. Unless you think you're worthy of that house, that job, that car, that person, you cannot attract it. Now, why this chakra gets blocked? Because you think you are a useless stone or you are that pebble which has got no value because of low self-worth. Now, why does a person have low self-worth? Either that person did not get the affection he deserved from childhood. That person was constantly criticized, rejected, ignored, put down, not appreciated. That person got conditional love in this world. If you do this, then we will love you. That person doesn't realize his value and doesn't know love has to be unconditional. So a lot of people, due to their life experiences, they lose their worth. And they start feeling that I am just a normal pebble, that no one has value for me. So this chakra is blocked by low self-worth. And because the key of self-worth doesn't exist or the key is not fitted, he cannot take in power, he cannot take in nourishment from the world. He blocks himself to nourishment. Then this glucose is wasted in the blood. This excess energy destroys himself. This excess energy is leaked from the system. He solves the situations, he does a lot of work, but he's not getting the appreciation or the credit for that work. Lot of things that he does, it goes unnoticed, unappreciated in this world. He doesn't get the fruit of his work. Many people say, I don't get the fruit of my labor. Whatever hard work I did, people might appreciate it, but I don't get any result out of it. I don't get a promotion, I don't get a position, it just goes waste. Whatever effort I do, it ultimately doesn't give result. Because you don't feel worthy. You're not absorbing power. You're not feeling worthy of power. So because of this, what happens? You stop attracting or you lose that power of attraction, what you should get. Now, blocked by low self-worth, again you have to ask yourself this question. Have you had a childhood where your feelings, your identity was not validated or appreciated? Were you bullied by your own family or at school? Do you always have a fear of doing things wrong? Have you repressed and stored a lot of anger and resentment from your experiences? Do you have low sense of self-worth? Are you always trying to prove yourself? Are you always pushing yourself too hard to improve, too hard to impress others? These are signs for you to check that you're losing your self-worth or you've lost your self-worth. Because you think, I have to do something, I have to prove myself so that people can appreciate me, value me. And because of this blockage in this chakra, because you have lost your sense of self-worth, you develop a dysfunction of power. Because you don't value yourself, you don't realize what is power. And what is this dysfunction of power? Dysfunction of power is control. Now for you, power is either dependency or responsibility. Power is just control for you. You cannot take in glucose. You cannot realize that power is something natural for you. You cannot rest in power. Right? Either you have to control someone for power or you have to get controlled and be under someone for power. You're not realizing power is something natural to you. It is something that when you don't believe in yourself, when you don't have worth, you cannot have merger with anything. Or you don't feel you deserve that because you're not realizing that you deserve it. So what happens is, because that union between the material and the soul, you have a dysfunctional belief of power. You feel either I have to control things for power or I have to be under someone for power. You're not rested in your power. You don't believe that power is inherent to you. Power is your trait. It is not something you get from people. It is not something you give to people. Power is natural to you. Your self-worth is the key that allows you to take in power very naturally from the food you eat. Your self-worth is the key that allows you to take power very naturally from the circumstances in your life, from the different experiences of life. But because the self-worth is missing, you don't have value for yourself. Now what happens is there is a dysfunction of power, which is control. And what happens in control? You are controlled by, or you control, either thing can happen. Your family, your friends, your employees, situations, life. Yes, you either control or you get controlled by family, friends, employees, situations, life. And when you control, how will you know control exists? Because in life, always there is expectation, there is mistrust, and you often use the word should, must. This person should do, must do. Expectation, mistrust. Things are not natural. Right? So it is a dysfunctional belief of power where you live life with controls. Now this chakra can be overactive or underactive. That's why we define either it is type 1 or type 2. If it is excessive, what happens is definitely there is a loss of self-worth in both the cases, but you give a lot of high worth to others. You feel very responsible for them. You feel possessive for them and you have to control them. You feel you have to control people for power. You feel very responsible for people. You feel possessive. You give high worth to others. So then what happens? This happens. Right? Try to understand this. I'll make my picture small so that you can see this picture. Now what happens is you start controlling. You can control people either with love. Love is also a way to control people. Or you control using money, or you control using service. You withhold it or give too much of it. Why do you control? As we said, if it is excessive, you feel too responsible for other people or other situations. You have a lot of expectations from people or situations. You think they are very high, they are very valuable, and you don't think yourself as valuable. You have a fear of failure in your role. You want to prove yourself. You want to be a savior. You have a fear of being shortchanged and not doing your duty. You have a fear of being taken for granted. You don't have faith in your power. And power is something which is natural. You don't have to control. And you don't have respect for others' free will. Because you don't have trust that people will do things or things will manifest on their own. So you can control people either using love, money, or service. And you will often see words in your mind with people of mistrust, expectations, should, must, and lot of control. When you start thinking you are the provider and people are dependent on you. So people who have diabetes, it is possible they feel very, very responsible for their family, for their children, or for their work, for their business, for their employees. They start feeling they are very valuable and they have a lot of fear of failing in their role. They have a lot of fear, what if I fail in my role? So I have to control. They control because they have an illusion of worth. They think this is very valuable and I am less valuable. Right? So they think this is very important and they want to prove themselves. They have a fear of failure. They have a fear that, they can fail in their identity. They want to prove themselves. They want to be a savior. They have a fear of being shortchanged, taken for granted. They don't realize their self-power. They don't realize that people also have a free will and they will grow. And they live life with expectations, control, should, must, and a lot of mistrust. So they control people using love, using money, or using service. Okay? Now, how can you come out of this? A lot of people realize that, yes, I realize I'm controlling my children, I'm controlling my spouse, I'm controlling my employees. I'm all the time controlling them because I want them to benefit. I want them to prosper. I want them to do well. You have to understand, you have not come here to improve the world. You have come to realize yourself. You have come to realize yourself. And yourself is nurturing. Yourself is kind. Yourself is compassionate. But you think you are living for the world. You're not realizing the world is there so that you realize. They take their role very seriously. Right? But for their role, they give away power. They are not settled in their power. Now the thing is, the heart chakra, as we said, that Rit Padma is lower heart. The heart is made up of 3 parts. The Anahata chakra, the Rit Padma chakra, and above it is the thymus chakra. So there are 3 hearts. lower heart, heart and upper heart. All the three have got their own lessons, right? We did thymus chakra in the immunity class, and this is the Rit Padma chakra. Ultimately, all the three have to open. This is Anahat chakra is Mercury, Rit Padma is Venus, and thymus chakra is Chiron, planet. So all the three hearts, they have got certain lessons which we have to learn. So as we said, because of a dysfunctional belief of power, you live life by control. If you believe in power, there is no control. Real power means the power is inside and things happen automatically. Right? Okay? So I will try to explain this. That real power is that you are internalized in your consciousness. You don't have to control. If you are a manager, you know your position, you know your power. You just have to give instructions and you have to delegate your work. You have to trust it will happen. You know it will happen because you trust, you have delegated in the right way. You know that you trust people to follow because you have power. Right? As a mother, if you have power, you know how to manage your children. As a spouse, you have power, you know how to handle your house, your spouse. As a business owner, you know you have power, you know how to handle your employees, how to handle your clients. But if you are not settled in your power, you live life by control. You live life by should, must, mistrust. Continuously, you're controlling people. You're controlling your children. You're controlling your spouse. You're controlling your employees. You're controlling your clients with words of expectations, could, must, should. If you are constantly chasing them, you're constantly breathing down their neck. Right? If you're constantly chasing them, breathing down your neck, having mistrust on them, because you fear failing in your role, in your identity, right? And you feel that they can cheat you or take advantage of you and not live as per you. You don't have trust in them. You don't have trust in your power, right? And you have a fear of failure in your role. You have a lack of trust in yourself, lack of trust in God, and a low self-worth. So what will happen? Your relationships will be like this. You will always try to prove yourself, right? And you will always try to be overly responsible for others. You don't have, you can say faith in their free will, respect for their free will. You're not taking relationships as partnerships. Because of this, you're not learning lessons of life. You're not absorbing power. You think you have come for them. You're not realizing they have come for you. You have to take everything like partnerships because these situations are created by God so that you realize. You have to settle in your seat of power. Now, what is the control? What cause and effect? Because you control, you have got blockage of this chakra, which leads to diabetes, blood pressure, nervous disorders, and anxiety. Okay. Because we are talking about diabetes, it is because of blockage of this chakra. It gets blocked because of control. Now next, underactive. If this chakra is deficient, definitely you have loss of self-worth. Now what happens? You seek favor from others. In overactive, you made everyone under you and you became overly responsible. In underactive, what happens? It's opposite. You become dependent on others. You get controlled by people. So there is a loss of self-worth. You seek favor, you have dependency, and you don't feel valued or appreciated. Why do you get controlled? Because you think the world is a provider. Now, the world means it could be your family, it could be your husband, it could be your spouse, it could be your company, it could be anyone whom you think is a provider, and you become dependent. And you are dependent on them either for love or for service or for money. And why do you get controlled? There is an illusion of worth. You think this person is more important and I'm less. You have to realize everyone has got value. No one is more important than other. It is a value. And value is not dependent, right, on a person. Everyone has value. So why you get controlled? Because of illusion of worth, because you perceive dependency on others. You seek favor from others. You feel that you're put down, you're not appreciated. You have lack of faith in your own power. And you have a fear of the unknown. You cannot stand up for yourself in power. You don't feel confident enough to stand up for yourself. So we can say that you allow the world to control you. Maybe you're allowing your spouse to control you, your company to control you, your boss to control you, your client to control you, your friend to control you. And why you are allowing someone to control you? Because you perceive a dependency on the person. Dependency for love, for service, or money. You have an unknown fear of going against the person. You have a lack of worth for yourself and a lack of faith in God. Right? So you are allowing people to control you, and because you're allowing, you're not absorbing power. You're not absorbing glucose from the lessons of life. So that's why you have diabetes, because you're not absorbing power. So because of control, what happens? Dysfunction of power happens. And because of this, what happens? There is no transformation in life. You're not able to give light. All your efforts, you realize, they don't bear the kind of fruit you think they should bear. And no empowerment means you don't get light from the situations of life. As I said, people then say, I don't get the fruit of my labor. There is no transformation because you don't give light or you don't get light. And because of control, you block your power of manifestation. Because you are controlling, things are not happening naturally. It is either this or this, but they are not merging. So what we have to do, we have to release controls. And it is not so easy like taking a scissor. You have to meditate and you have to release control. So diabetes cancels when you open up yourself to self-love and your value. That you have value. There is no one you need to feel responsible for or feel dependent on. The right person will come and give you value. Everyone in the world has value. And when you open up yourself to value, you open up yourself to power. In Rudraksha Ratna Science Therapy Solutions, We consult people in counseling sessions. We have several RRST combinations for each purpose. And for diabetes issues, we prescribe Surya Power. It is a pendant, and diamond ring. But diamond should not be multiple diamonds. It has to be a solitaire. So when you wear diamond and you wear Surya Power, this chakra starts opening. Okay? So this brings us to the lessons, to the end of the lessons for diabetes. Are we ready to meditate? Yes. We are going to do the Gayatri Mantra. And in this, what we will do, we will realize that we are controlling and we will release controls. So I'm going to quickly show you the release meditation, how it works for people who have joined us first time. Okay, just see how we will do this. I will be prompting you and you will be releasing the fears. And you have to constantly see how you are controlling the situations of life. And you will release the controls. This is a very powerful technique and you have to do one type of meditation only once. So you will release it from your body, from your house, from your full family. You will just imagine that the fear is getting released and you will imagine that how you are controlling these aspects of life. You're constantly controlling how people should be, how they should behave, how their life should be. Ultimately, you have to live your life with zero controls. So everyone close your eyes. I'm going to do this meditation on Gayatri Mantra. Om Bhuvasvaha Tasya Viturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhuvasvaha Tasya Viturvarenyam. Totally relax. You're sitting in your favorite chair. Focus on your breathing. Watch yourself breathing in and out 5 times as you totally settle in your body. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhuvasvaha Tasya Viturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhuvasvaha Tasya Viturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Today, I am controlling so many situations in my life. I am controlling how things should be, how they should not be. I am controlling how my family should be and should not be. Every single emotion that erupts is because I control. I become upset, I become anxious, I become worried is because I control. In the absence of control, I will absorb power. I will realize the lesson I have to learn. I will realize what I have to do in a situation when I don't control it. Today, I'm controlling how my children are performing in their education, how they are performing in their career, how they are behaving, how they are living. I'm controlling my spouse, how she should be, how she should behave, what she should do, what she should not do. I'm controlling my house, my finances. I'm controlling my family, my parents. I'm controlling their life situations. At least I'm trying to control, which I miserably fail to control because control is not my nature. I'm controlling my career. If I get upset, if I get anxious, is because I'm controlling. I'm controlling not only my family, my career, my loved ones. I'm even trying to control life. I'm trying to control what should happen with me, what should not happen. I'm controlling using money, using service, using love, using emotion. Every single emotion that comes in me is because of control. And today, in the light of the consciousness, I'm ready to release control, to liberate myself. When I control, I also get controlled. It is always one person catching from one side, and I'm also caught. Because of control, I'm so anxious, I'm so worried. I'm not in my seat of power. I'm not learning the lessons of life because I'm busy controlling how they should be. Today, in the light of the kind consciousness, I'm ready to release control and totally surrender to Him. Focus on the tip of your toes and start releasing. I release controls. Release controls from your ankles, from your lower legs, from your thighs. Release controls from your hips, from your stomach, from your chest, from your whole body. I release controls from the room of my house where I'm sitting. Now I release controls from my whole house. I see my spouse, I see my children, I see the people in my house. And I see how much of control I have on them. How much of should, must, expectations, mistrust, so much of anxiety, so much of nervousness. What should happen? What could happen? So much of mistrust, so much of expectations. See the control lines from you to them and start releasing. I release control as I listen to the mantra.
धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तस्य वितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तस्य वितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तस्य वितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तस्य वितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि.
Keep on releasing what should happen, what could happen, so much of mistrust, so much of expectations, so much of anxiety, so much of nervousness, so much of hopelessness. Keep on releasing what should happen with my kids, what should happen with my spouse, how they should behave, what they should do, what should happen with them. So much of should, so much of could, so much of mistrust, so much of expectations, so much of nervousness, so much of anxiety. Keep on releasing, keep on releasing.
देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तस्य पितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तस्य पितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तस्य पितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तस्य पितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्.
Keep on releasing control from my house. What should happen in my house? So much of control over my finances. How much I should earn, how much I should save, what I should have. So much of control over my family, over my house, over my financial situation. So much of mistrust in life. So much of lack of faith in myself. So much of low self-worth. So much of ignorance about my value. So much of ignorance about what I have come to realize in this world. Keep on releasing these controls. Now release controls from the neighborhood. See the control lines leaving the neighborhood, how people should be, how they should behave. Keep on releasing. Not even neighborhood. Release the control lines from my extended family and friends. See my parents, my in-laws, my cousins, my brothers and sisters and their families, my in-laws and their family, and keep on releasing the control lines. What should happen with them? What should not happen with them? How they should behave, their health, their finances, how much I control. I control with so much emotions of anxiety, nervousness, worry, helplessness, hopelessness. Every single thought for them is a control. Only when I release controls will I settle in my power and do something about the situation. I will learn from the situation, I will grow from the situation, I will transform the situation. The control leads me to so much of helplessness, hopelessness, anxiety, low self-worth. Keep on releasing control. How I control them, what they should do, how they should behave, what should happen with them, what should not happen with them. So much of control. I control using my emotions, using love, using service, using money. Keep on releasing control. I'm releasing control from my body, my family, my spouse, my children, my house. I'm releasing control from my neighborhood. And now I'm releasing control from my parents, my brothers, sisters, cousins, my relatives, my in-laws, my contacts, my friends. Keep on releasing controls, how they should be, what should happen with them, what should not happen with them, how they should behave. Keep on releasing the control lines with emotions of anxiety, nervousness, helplessness, hopelessness, so much of should, so much of could, so much of mistrust, so much of expectations. Keep on releasing, keep on releasing.
Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodayat. Om bhuvasvaha tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodayat. Om bhuvasvaha tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodayat. Om bhuvasvaha tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodayat. Om bhuvasvaha tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodayat. Om bhuvasvaha tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodayat. Om bhuvasvaha tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodayat. Om bhuvasvaha tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodayat.
Imagine lots and lots of water has started pouring from the heavens, washing these control lines, washing these control lines on my children, on my spouse, on my family members, washing the control lines on my house, on my neighborhood, washing the control lines I have made for my parents, my brothers and sisters, my cousins, my in-laws, my friends, my contacts. How much of mistrust I have, how much of expectations I have, how much of definitions I have that could, should, what should happen, what could happen. So much of emotions of mistrust, anxiety, nervousness, how I'm trying to control the situation. So much of control, so much of lack of faith in myself, lack of faith in God who has created these situations. This control is not allowing me to learn from the situations, to absorb power from the lessons of this situation. So much of could, so much of should, so much of mistrust, so much of expectations. Keep on washing, keep on washing.
Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodayat. Om bhuvasvaha tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodayat. Om bhuvasvaha tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodayat. Om bhuvasvaha tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्
Keep on releasing the control lines. Now release the control lines from your workplace. See the place you work. See your seniors. See your colleagues. See your customers. See your suppliers. And see your control lines on them. So much of control lines. How they should perform. How they should behave. Control lines on my finances, on my promotion, on my output, on their output, what they should give me. So much of control lines, how my job should go, how my business should go, what should happen, what could happen. So much of expectations, so much of mistrust. So much of control lines, using money, using love, using service. Keep on releasing these control lines. Imagine lots and lots of water is pouring and releasing the control lines. Imagine lines connecting me with them and see lots and lots of water trying to break the lines and move away from me, trying to disconnect the control lines. So much of emotions happen because of control. So much of anxiety, so much of anger, so much of mistrust, so much of helplessness, so much of frustration, so much of nervousness. What should happen, what could happen. So much of expectations, so much of control lines, so much of controlling them because of feeling so responsible for them, because of dependency on them, fear of getting less, so much of greed of getting more. So much of fear of being shortchanged in my role. So much of lack of faith in myself, lack of faith in God. Keep on releasing, keep on releasing.
भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तस्य पितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तस्य पितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तस्य पितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तस्य पितुर्वरेण्यं
Keep on releasing the control lines of should, must, could, expectations. Keep on releasing the control lines from the city, from the state, from the country, from the neighboring countries. Control lines from the whole earth. Not even earth, control lines from all the 9 planets. See a big vortex in front of you. The vortex is spiraling at high speed, acting like a black hole, a vacuum pump, ready to suck away the control lines. Control lines of should, must, mistrust, expectations that I have collected from my children, from my spouse, from my family members. Control lines I have collected from my house, from my neighborhood, from my extended family, friends, parents, brothers, sisters, in-laws, cousins. Control lines I have collected from my workplace, from my juniors, my seniors, my boss, my role, my profile, my customers, my suppliers. Control lines I have collected from my city, my state, my country, the world. So much of control lines on people, on situations, how people should be, how they should not be, what should happen with them, what should not happen with them. So much of dependency on them. So much of fear of losing control. So much of fear of not having control. So much of lack of faith in myself. So much of fear of not having enough value. So much of powerlessness. So much of emotions due to controlling them. Emotions of anxiety, nervousness, helplessness, hopelessness. So much of should, so much of could, so much of expectation, so much of mistrust. So much of fear of being shortchanged. So much of fear of not getting my due. So much of fear of losing in my role, of not getting full advantage of my identity as a father, as a mother, as a spouse, as an employer, as an employee, in my various roles. So much of fear of not living to my identity, of being shortchanged, of being cheated, of not taking full advantage of the role. So much of mistrust in them. So much of lack of respect for their free will. How much I'm controlling them, using money, using service, using love. Fear of missing out on my role. Fear of not proving myself. So much of fear of failure, which is making me control. I have to release this control to become natural, to learn lessons of power, to allow the situations to teach me. So much of control, so much of control. Imagine lots and lots of water is pouring. It is pouring on my house with my family members. Lots and lots of cleansing water is pouring on my neighborhood, on my extended family, friends, on my career, workplace, on my city, state, country, world, on the planets, on all aspects of my life, on my personal life, on my social life, on my professional life. Lots and lots of water is pouring and washing away the controls. See lots and lots of control lines being disconnected and washed away and entering the vortex. Keep on giving up control, losing control, releasing the illusion of control, lack of respect for their free will, mistrust on myself and lack of faith on myself and God, lack of value for myself, which is making me control them, mistrust on self and God, mistrust on the situation. So much of control, so much of control. Keep on releasing and keep on washing.
Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodaya Om bhuvasva tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodaya Om bhuvasva tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodaya Om bhuvasva tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodaya Om bhuvasva tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodaya Om bhuvasva tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodaya Om bhuvasva tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodaya Om bhuvasva tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodaya Om bhuvasva tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodaya Om bhuvasva tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodaya Om bhuvasva tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodaya Om bhuvasva tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodaya Om bhuvasva tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodaya Om bhuvasva tasya viturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्.
See, lots and lots of water is pouring. Lots and lots of cleansing water is pouring. Washing the control lines. Washing the control lines of should, mistrust, expectations. How people should be, how they should behave, how situations should be, how life should be. So much of low self-worth, so much of mistrust in myself, so much of mistrust in God, who has sent these situations for my evolution. I control because I don't trust. I control because I'm not ready to learn. I'm not ready to take in power. I control how they should be, how they should not be, what should happen, what should not happen. Lots and lots of control lines on my children, their education, their career, their behavior, on my spouse, her behavior, on my house, on my neighborhood. Lots and lots of control on my parents, how their head should be, how they should be in health, how they should be in behavior, what should happen with them, what should not happen. Lots of control lines with my siblings, with my relatives, with my friends. I keep on washing these control lines. Lots of control lines on my career, how it should be, how it should grow. So much control lines on people working with me. So much of control lines. So much of fear of not getting my due. Fear of being shortchanged. Fear of not meeting goal of my identity. Lack of respect for their free will. So much of fear of leaving control. So much of fear of not having control. How can I leave control? How can I not have control? Keep on washing, keep on realizing. Keep on washing my city, my state, my country, the whole world. Lots and lots of water is pouring, and it is carrying away the control lines inside the vortex. See, lots and lots of control lines entering the vortex. Whether it is good or bad, right or wrong, across all the 9 levels. Keep on releasing the control lines. Keep on releasing the control lines. Keep on surrendering control. Every single situation is created by the consciousness to make me realize power, to make me connect to my true nature. Keep on releasing control. Keep on washing the words should, must, could, expectations, control. Keep on washing, keep on washing.
भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तस्य वितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तस्य वितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तस्य पितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तस्य पितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तस्य पितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तस्य पितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तस्य पितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तस्य पितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तस्य पितुर्वरेण्यं
Start releasing the control lines inside the vortex. 10% of the earth is cleansed of my control lines. See the control lines hurtling towards the vortex, rushing towards the vortex, and getting dissolved in the black hole. 20% of the control lines have entered the vortex. Control lines on my children, my spouse, my house, my neighborhood, my family, my friends, my workplace, on the life itself. Lots and lots of control lines entering the vortex. 30% of the earth is cleansed. 40% of the earth is cleansed of control lines. See the should, see the could, see the expectations, mistrust. See the control lines entering the vortex. Lots and lots of holy water is washing away the control lines. See the cleansed part of the earth, totally white, pristine. And see the control lines entering the vortex. 40% of the earth is cleansed. 50% of the earth is cleansed of the control lines. 60% of the earth is cleansed. See lots and lots of control lines entering the vortex. 70% of the earth is getting cleansed of the control lines. 80% of the earth is getting cleansed of the control lines. 90% of the earth is getting cleansed of all the control lines. Control lines in all aspects of my life. There is no need to control. It is my value, it is my power that will make things perfect around me. Every single situation is a leela or an act of play which is going to reveal my true self. Everything will manifest perfectly when I settle in my value, in my power. Whatever is happening is complete, is perfect, is Purnam. There is no need of control. There is no reality of control. 80% of the earth is cleansed. 90% of the earth is cleansed. See lots and lots of control lines entering the vortex. 100% of the earth is cleansed. I count till 10, and in 10, every single control, including the word control, will enter the vortex. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. See the word control entering the vortex. The habit of controlling. See the habit entering the vortex. The need for controlling. See the need entering the vortex. The ability of controlling. See the ability entering the vortex. See the last of the tiny control lines left entering the vortex with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, going, gone.
पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते
पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते
पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते
पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात्
So congratulations, you all have done meditation very nicely. You all have done with full concentration. I could feel it.